Today I'm going to review a bottle that I think can beat this, Eagle Rare 10. Let's get into it. Welcome back, guys, to Foolproof Hunter. I'm Joey B, and today we're reviewing Pendleton 10-year straight bourbon whiskey. This is Pendleton 1910 straight bourbon whiskey, aged 10 years. Bottled by Hood River Distilleries, distilled in Indiana. So this is a sourced product, distilled in Indiana. It's 90 proof. The mash bill is undisclosed, but we do know it is a blend of high and low rye bourbon. It has a beautiful bottle design. The embossing on it is really nice. It's actually a really nice bottle design. The one downside to this is when I first opened it, the very first thing I noticed was the cork is very loose. There's almost no cork pop when you pull it, and it's already disintegrating within the bottle. Brand new right out of the bottle. So I did have to find a new cork for it. So, but that's no big deal. Everybody has corks laying around, right? Oh yeah, on the nose, it's light, it's crisp, it's like fruity, slight vanilla, a little sweetness. There's that caramel note, brown sugar, typical bourbon notes. This is just quintessential bourbon. 10 years old. It's really nice nose. I mean, it's subtle, but it's got everything you want. It's just very subtle. It's very smooth smelling on the nose. So let's try the palate. I almost want to say that I'm picking up like a green grape. There's definitely some kind of a green fruit there, whether it be a Granny Smith apple type note. Not really trying to say that there's a sourness there. That's what I'm envisioning, is either a grapiness or some type of a Granny Smith type apple, whether it be the peel or what. I mean, it's fairly light. It feels full bodied, but it's got your typical caramels, vanillas, brown sugars, things like that. A very light oak presence. But yeah, that's just a really nice sipping bourbon. 10 years old, 50 to 60 bucks. What else do you want? That's just really solid. And it comes in a nice bottle. I definitely think it's worth that $50 to $60 mark. I mean, it's a 10-year bourbon under $100. So these days I'll take that. I would really be interested in what you guys think, if you've tried this yet or not. There's nothing overly complex about it, but it's also not too subtle that I feel like it's a youthful bourbon. We're gonna try against Eagle Rare. So let's get a little more in a glass. Comparison's sake. And then my handy dandy Eagle Rare. Even though this looks pretty low, I did take this to a bottle share the other day, and that's how it got mostly drank, was friends. So let's nose these and see what we think. Eagle Rare is just so good. I do wish it was just sitting on store shelves. Here in South Mississippi, Eagle Rare doesn't just sit around. You don't really find it for around that $42 mark. Typically when you find it, it's around $50 to $60. There's a nice richness to that. There's a grapiness there, like a green grape that I'm kind of picking up on. Ooh, but that caramel note or butterscotch, maybe light leather influence with a little bit of oak. Okay, now that I've compared them side by side on the nose, there is a little bit of a funkiness to this that I guess I wasn't picking up without doing a side by side. This is just fresh, crisp, clean with those quintessential bourbon notes. This is still right there with it. I mean, I would say the caramel and brown sugar notes are pretty much equal. There's just a little bit of a funkiness to this, almost kind of like a wild turkey, how that wild turkey sometimes gets a little bit of a funkiness to it. But this one's a little more fruitiness on the nose, whereas this one has a little bit more funkiness, but they both have the same kind of depth feel as far as like a brown sugar, a slight leather, a little bit of oak. Let's try out the palate, see which one do I think is best. Eagle Rare is so good. I mean, just a touch of that rye spice there, but it's caramel, it's brown sugar, it's this nice grape note that I get. It's just really good. It's really nice, clean. It's not heavy. It's just solid. Let's see how the Pendleton does. Okay. Having tried them side by side, I would say that the Pendleton, if I put these in a blind, I believe I would pick the Pendleton as the slightly older or slightly more depth to the sip. They both have a very similar nose, with one being a little more fruity, one being a little more funky, same amount of caramel, brown sugar, and spice characteristics. I would say that the Pendleton has a little bit more of a viscous mouthfeel to it, but not much. The finish on the Pendleton is a little more lasting, a little more lingering. I would say that the Pendleton has a little more depth to it on the mid palate to the finish. But it's hard to argue with how clean and crisp and smooth Eagle Rare is. Again, it's really about personal preference here. I will say this, in a blind, I do believe I would pick the Pendleton 10 over the Eagle Rare, sip for sip. Not saying that it's going to replace it on my shelf, but if I have to be completely objective here, I do believe that the Pendleton's given the Eagle Rare a good run for its money. So I would say if you enjoy Eagle Rare, try this out. I think you're gonna like it. There's a slight funkiness there. There's a little more clean, a little more fruity, but there's just a slight kind of funkiness, dustiness to this that just adds another layer to it. You know, you can't go wrong with Eagle Rare, but I say give Pendleton 10 Year a shot. Now, let's see how it competes against Blantons. So, just in case anybody's curious, this is, oh, I can't see back here. This is bottle number 224. They're all Rickhouse aged. This was dumped on 1/11/2024, barrel number 1539, or is that 539? I can't tell if there's a 1 there in front. Rick number 11. So I think that's pretty low in the Rickhouse. This is the only glass I have available. It's not a Glencairn. It's a tulip, another tulip shaped glass. Doesn't really matter. Definitely more rye characteristics. I mean, typical quintessential bourbon, but with a little bit of a rye spice there. So, ooh, it's a little darker. There's a little more richness on the Pendleton. Nice quintessential bourbon. Nice caramel presence. Vanillas, a little bit of rye spice there, not much, but just a kiss of rye spice. Guys, let me know, am I way off base here? But I'm going to say that it's a draw between Eagle Rare and Pendleton. And I'm going to say Pendleton beats Blantons, at least the standard Blantons. They're roughly the same proof point. You got 90 proof? Yeah, you got 90 proof versus 93 proof. If you like Blantons, try Pendleton. Honestly, in my opinion, these are still a tie. I'm going to call Pendleton the winner over Blanton's and roughly a draw with Eagle Rare. You could argue that it is better than Eagle Rare because of that funkiness and that little bit of extra that it's got. With that being said, so until the next time, cheers, y'all.